STPL.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's STPL. This is going to be a little bit more of a low-key event just because I forgot to put a thing on Team Liquid. We also had a cursed weekend of STPL games. One of the series didn't happen at all. One of the teams obviously left a couple of weeks ago. So it's a bit messy, but we've reached our $2,000 prize pool goal, which is absolutely incredible. It means we're beating our best prize pool by $500 overall, so the teams that are left have got so much money to be fighting over, which is really, really exciting. But if you've not seen the STPL before, this is the format. Best of 5 for all games that are played, or best of 5, all the games are played regardless of the outcome. Set 1 to 4, the lineups are selected in advance, and set 5, if we make it to the teams tying up 2 to 2, is the ace match. And the ace match means anyone can play again, and also anyone from outside of the clan war as well could play, but that very, very rarely happens just due to the way it works and everything. But essentially we were going to have EF versus Valhalla team today, but there was a huge power cut on the weekend for I don't know whereabouts it was, but it affected all of the EF management, and none of them could get any contact with any of their players to make sure they all turned up. So unfortunately, only one of the games was played, and I don't actually have the replay for it, so I'm going to need to find out the result of that. It would have been Cross versus Ghost Dark, but the rest of the series would have been a 3-0 walkover in favour of Valhalla team anyway, so a little bit unfortunate we won't have that game, but we do have ReV versus BuLL. Now, ReV versus BuLL had their own problems. BuLL, their captain hasn't been very well from what I understand. He didn't send his lineups in this week until today, but it's something that can't be helped. We did miss one of the series, or one of the games from this series. So basically today we're just getting the cursed series out of the way, and then tomorrow, Friday, what we'll do is we'll watch the 2 good ones. To be honest, even though there's a walkover in this series, this could actually be a really good one. What we'll do, let's quickly introduce both of our teams. I did already give away that one of them was gonna be BuLL. That kind of was given away there, but still, starting us off here, we're gonna have their opponents, which is gonna be Clan Revolution. And for the first time this season, I've noticed that their name does not fit on the overlay, so that is something I'm going to have to quickly change after this. Also, I think one of the things someone mentioned to me on Friday, I still haven't fixed, so some of the win-losses, like the streaks, may look a little bit weird. But either way, we've got Sugo, one of the best Protoss players from North America, Medinho, one of the best Norwegian players in general, one of the best European players as well. The Viking Terran himself going to be coming out in game 2. Game 3 was the walkover. CRVT does take that over their opponent, and Hienmu in game number 4 looking to get a little bit of pride back onto his win-loss ratio, as it's been a little bit rough for him. He is actually acting as the captain for ReV since Incomplete stepped down along with Buenaventura, so apparently we have quality options today as well. So we've got quality options when we've got 7 viewers. We've got we've got no Team Liquid event and barely any games. But then we get quality options. It's all good. But you know, to be honest, we've got Reyna, Inca, and Conan for BuLL. 3 very good players. Their win-loss ratio, especially for Inca and Reyna, may not look that good, but they are actually very good at the matchups they're going to be playing. Let's have a look at the lineups we're going to have. Remember, cross out game number 3. That's not happening here, but PVT to start us off between Sugo and Reyna. That should be very good. The might of the USA against the might of Bolivia. Then we've got the Viking Terran up against the Aztec King. Wait, Incas weren't Aztecs, were they? The Incan King. Then we've got a walkover in Game 3 in favor of CRVT, but then Hiromu is going to take on Conan. Finland versus Bolivia in a ZVZ on Core Breach. I don't know how we keep getting ZVZs on Core Breach, but yeah. CRVT is from Latvia. Okay, let's have a look at our first couple of players, then we can kind of look to get into the game. Starting us off here for ReV is going to be Sugo. Now, Sugo was one of Naz's best players in Season 1 and 2. When Naz disbanded, essentially, from playing in any clan wars, Sugo moved over to ReV, and he's been doing a pretty good job. Like, I know he's lost both of his last 2 games, but look at who his opponents were. It was True Touch and Zealot. That is such an incredible set of players to have to play against in a row. So I would definitely not say anything bad about Sugo. His win rate outside of that has been incredibly good. Getting 53% overall is very difficult. Now PVT seems to be where he struggles just a little bit, but it's always good to see him maybe get a little bit back towards 50% in PVT as well. Now his opponent is going to be the star player of BuLL. It's going to be Reyna. Now BuLL are not the strongest team, and Reyna always ends up fighting against incredibly strong players from his opponent's team. So while he is the star player, he still doesn't have the best win rate. It's very similar to, say, Sparky's back in the day in Pro League, where like BuLL have periods where they'll be incredibly strong. Like in Season 2 they did really, really well, but in Season 3 they've not quite hit their stride. And given the fact we're more than halfway through the season, the fact they're having a few problems with penalty losses and things like that from various rule violations, it's going to be tough for BuLL. So it's going to be very important for Reyna to come out here and try and win a game for his team. Now let's have a look at the map we're going to be going into. It's La Mancha. This was one of the best maps from the last season of Ladder. One of the best standard maps ever made as well. And just overall a very, very fun map to play. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into game number 1. How did I forget? I've literally just started. Man, I am not I'm not doing well with English anymore, but here we go. Let's get into game number 1. Okay, the game has begun, and starting us off here over in the top right hand position is the grey Protoss player fighting from North America for ReV. It's Sugo. And Sugo's opponent down here in the bottom right hand corner fighting in the yellow for BuLL from Bolivia. It's Reyna. Now, we've got a cheer for Sugo here that Lucky Noob made, and I'm not 100% sure what this cheer actually is, but it looks kind of cool, so I'm going to show it off. Here we go. I mean, I'm guessing it's definitely some kind of food, I just don't know what kind of food it is. And there's like a dead hatchery, a dead command center, and a dead dragoon in there, and a dead ultralisk, which, I don't know, that doesn't look very appetizing, but still pretty well made. Oh, it's sauce in Italian. Oh, is that what Sugo means? I had no idea that was what Sugo meant in Italian, but then I don't know if that's what his name is from, but I guess we'll go with that. So we've got a gateway coming up in the main base. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned, but I mention pretty much every time we watch Sugo play, and when we watch Reina play, I mention this a lot as well, they both play incredibly standard. It's very rare for Sugo to do anything super aggressive, so... And Reina is the same. Like, sometimes Reina will go into like a 2-factory or something, but you can see here no gas. So Reina is going to be going for a 1-racks fast expand. Now, not opting to wall in the natural when you're going for this 1-rack fast expand is a little bit interesting. You kind of want to make sure you've got a wall there, or at least a bunker early on to help out. And it also, the problem that Reina has is he's going to scout his opponent last. He's going bottom right, then he's going top left to scout, and that's something you don't want to happen. Like, if that happens, all of a sudden you can't really build the command center, and this is exactly what he's doing. He's going to go for a refinery instead. This refinery is so late. Like, I don't know if he was planning on doing something cheeky, maybe like a bio rush or something if he saw a 12 next, but... he's actually just in the worst of all worlds right now. His command center is coming down on 21. 21 is when you normally build it after a 12 gas. And at the moment he's still got no gas, he's got no factory, and he's only got 2 marines. Like, if Sugo just pushes with like 2 or 3 dragoons, he could actually just end the game. Now, I did mention that Sugo doesn't play aggressive, and this is why we're going to see the 21 Nexus coming out. But if Sugo just pushes, Reina is going to be in so much trouble. Trouble is, Sugo, playing greedy, decided not to scout for a very long time, so both of them kind of playing into each other here. I would like to say that Reina's playing a little bit greedy, but given how late everything was, it kind of feels like he's missed that window of opportunity to be super greedy. Now, I don't know if there's a reason behind this build. Maybe he did something... or maybe he was planning something and it didn't work, or maybe he was going for something else and just a late scout meant he couldn't do it, but this is very strange. Now, Sugo sending his Dragoon around scout, perfectly normal. Usually you would want to scout a little bit sooner with a probe, but if you scout with a probe it delays your Nexus, so Sugo making use of every single mineral he can. Now, is this... How is this SCV going to get away? Why do my SCVs always die? Oh, the Dragoon at the front, trying to be... I think this SCV was trying to go out and scout, but it just ended up getting himself killed. So that's payback for missing that other SCV just then. Nexus, about to finish up. 2 gateways are done. Robo is on the way as well. Now, Reina going into 2-factory already. We'll probably see a quick armory from him. It's not coming up yet, but it probably will do very shortly. But look how late everything is. At this point, Sugo, if he was going 2-gate, would have 3 or 4, no, probably like 5 or 6 Dragoons at his front, and he would not have anything. No tank, no mines, no vultures. Now, it looks like Reina, to try and come back in this, I mean, he's not super far behind or anything, but trying to come back into the situation to put himself a little bit more even of where he should be, he's going to go straight into double tank production. Now, double tank production does mean you can expand incredibly quickly, and it does mean your tank count goes up very fast. So you spend a lot more gas, which makes it a little bit harder to go for sort of double upgrades and things like that. But it means you can get ready to go for a push on 2 bases very easily. Now, it looks like Reina is coming out with the latest weird lefty push I think I've seen in a very long time. He pushes out of 5 minutes 56. Like, if there was enough Dragoons outside of his base, he loses all his Marines, he loses his tank, and he loses the game. So he is incredibly lucky that Sugo isn't an aggressive player, because that would have been incredibly poorly timed. But Observatory in, Pylon coming up. Looks like Reina blocking off the 3rd base node. I would also say this is a little bit of a mistake as well, because this is 100 minerals he's not going to get back. He's not going to be able to save this depot, and it will just die. So I guess he does just want to make sure that his opponent isn't expanding. which is a bit strange, I must admit, from Sugo here, not going for an expansion, but... here we go, he's going to send up the probe now. Yeah, the probe isn't going to be able to take this on its own. Dragoons will have to come over. But because there's no vultures, because there's no anything really, looks like he's actually not going to go double tank production. He's going for double vulture upgrades and going into a third base behind this, most likely. Even turrets coming up. This is how blind Reina actually is at the moment. And look at Sugo. Reina is just like, no, you're not expanding. Sugo's not even, I was going to say he's not even sent anything up here, but he has just a single Dragoon to kill this. Now Reina's lost another 100 minerals to do this. Like Sugo, oh my god, he even gets the probe. And look at this, he's going to try and save the depot. This really isn't worth the money. Now it looks like we do have a decent number of tanks and a lot of vultures coming in to reinforce this, so it's going to be a really weird two-fact timing push here, and Sugo doesn't actually have that many units. He's got 4 zealots in the shuttle though, which is going to be a big problem. And the Marines are not going to be able to deal with it, but let's actually zoom out just a little bit to have a look. I don't think this is going to work though. This is definitely a little bit of an ill-fated timing here from Reina. Like, maybe if he'd let Sugo get the expansion, he'd have a better time here, but all those minerals that would have gone into the Nexus, guess what? They're 4 zealots, they're a shuttle, and all of a sudden, you don't have the right units to fight this army. I don't even think he has siege mode yet. No, he doesn't. But without siege, you just can't fight this. He's going to block the expansion from coming down again, at least. The supply depot actually did survive. But Sugo is just in an incredible position in this game. Like, I really find it hard to understand how Reina is going to come back here. He's going to try and get a third base before Sugo. But Sugo's pushing. And what realistically does Reina have at home to defend it? He's got 5 tanks. 5 tanks and some vultures. Like, that isn't going to be enough. Siege mode is now finished. Sorry about that, which is a bonus. Reina gonna siege all of his tanks here, which could actually help. But if Sugo just goes to the main, it's pretty much game over. But Sugo, he's going for it. The shuttle is gonna go down, only dropping a single zealot off. And it looks like in some kind of miracle, Reina is gonna hold on to this position. And I was yawning, but I had a very long and annoying day at work, which is why that's happened. But this is, like, that was legitimately the one place he could push, which would be bad. And now we're going to have Reina with siege tanks on the high ground. They're going to go down very quickly, though. They didn't siege far enough back. But there is a, oh, I was going to say there's a bunker, but there's nothing in it. Like, look at this. He pulls the siege tank back. Sugo is still going to break through, but imagine if he had all of his units here. This would be an entirely different game. Both of them actually even on workers. Sugo is only just now building his third base. If Reina can hold on here, he's definitely got a way back into the game. This is absolutely crazy. Sugo may have made a massive error in game number 1. But it looks like the Dragoon trying to move forward, drag the mine into the tanks, but unable to do so. Why is Sugo still going in? This is 3-4 tanks. He's not going to be able to break up on this high ground. He's just throwing away Dragoons at this point. Although it looks like he is going to be able to get into a position to attack the command center. If he can get this, this is definitely going to make things a little bit better for him. He does still have the supply lead. He's not even going to get the CC. He's just losing so many Dragoons over and over again. Now back at home, he is macroing up. We've got 2 mines here, which if there was a Zell up here, that could be a little bit worrying. I mean, Sugo is definitely still in a good position. Let's not get it twisted. But I definitely feel like this is the gift that Reina needed to come back in this game. Like, attacking into this position was a massive strategical error on Sugo's part there, but Sugo still doing pretty well back at home. He still has a supply lead. Both of them are actually even on workers. Reina, of course, did have his third base up a little bit sooner, but Sugo denied the mining of this base for a while now. Sugo is probably going to be feeling the effects of that a little bit more. I mean, Reina did lose 4 or 5 tanks in that engagement, but it's not the end of the world for him. Whereas Sugo, I think, lost his entire army. Like, there's not a big number of gateways back at home either. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, he's going into 7 now. He's got his Templar Archives and Stargate only just now coming up as well. And as the factory count starts to kick in from Reina, as this third gas kicks in, the macro machine that is Terran is really going to start to pull through. Now, Starport coming in. Is there no armory? I don't think there's an armory unless it's right in the bottom corner. Yeah, there's no upgrades here whatsoever for Reina, so this is a big problem. Reina is going to be playing this without any upgrades. Look at this, 12 minutes into the game, no +1 attack. He needs +2 on the way by this point. Like, Reina's build in this game has just been so thrown off by the early push that just didn't work. But it looks like he wants to push again. He's seen a lot of units, a lot of probes going up to the top right hand corner. He's got a lot of vultures to lay mines in position to defend this. But Sugo is already in a position to try and move and jump onto this army. Let's have a look, see how this is going to go. Reina is getting caught off out of siege mode again, forcing his way back, trying to get some additional hits off on the Zealots. But this is once again an ill-fated push by... Oh, the mines! Not too bad. They didn't actually hit anything else. I don't know why I made a big deal out of those. But yeah, this is not looking too good for our hero Reina. Didn't get any damage done. 4th base is up. This is going to give Sugo a chance to build a lot of gateways over here in the top left-hand corner. And when Protoss get to 2 mains, that is when you start to worry as Terran, because whatever way you push, they will always have an army to run from either behind your army or round to your base. And it's so frustrating to have to try and play against. And then when you're bad like me, the Protoss player gets 3 mains and you may as well just give up because you can't kill them. Now this probe is this probe's having a little bit of fun here. Looks like it's finally gonna get away. Now looks like Sugo is going to push forward once again. Reina's army caught in the middle of the map. Looks like Reina going to send some vultures up here to try and block that expansion coming up. But the real problem is the tanks. Like, what are the tanks doing down here? And where is the defense at home? Sugo is easily in a position once again to go for a counterattack. And he's actually got he's got an upgrade lead on the Terran player, and that is something that doesn't happen very often. Now looks like Sugo getting ready to push into the 3rd base once again. This could be a very ill-fated attack. No, he's going to decide against it. He's going towards the main, and let's see how this is going to go. We're going to have some tanks coming in from behind to try and help defend against this. The Observer going to help keep that shot alive. And is Sugo making an ill-fated mistake again? He's pushing forward as Zealots have died. He really should pull back. But looks like with the shuttle dropping the Zealots off, he's still in a pretty good position. Looks like Reina is down to 2 tanks, 1 on the high ground. And either the bottom, I think the bottom right hand base is probably going to go down here. But looks like Sugo, he wants to push the envelope. But the trouble is, he's pushing into tanks on high ground. And he's losing a ton of Dragoons again. And why? Why is he losing them? Just go to the bottom, kill the base, and get away with most of your units. Looks like Sugo feels like he's in a good enough position to push his way through here. He's on 4 bases. He has an upgrade lead, and he is doing a very good job managing to break his way through here. But imagine if he cut off the 4th base. The problem is, I guess, that Sugo doesn't know exactly what units are down in the bottom right. So he can't really push. There's no Observer down there. So looks like he is going to come around with some Dragoons. He will find out the hard way that there was only 1 tank defending it, but it's not too bad. After that engagement, we have Sugo with a massive supply lead. It looks like he's getting ready to push down to the bottom right now. Sugo going to take her 5th base over here on the top left. Probably going to look to take his 6th base as well. Now Reina, at least macro-wise, is in a very good spot. He's on 4 bases, he's got 3 factories pumping out tanks, and he's got 5 factories pumping out vultures. He's got double upgrades on the way. No, he doesn't. He still doesn't have +2/+1, or +2/+2 at this point coming on. Looks like he's finally realized he's missed his upgrades again. And these little mistakes are adding up, and it's what allows Sugo to get away with murder. Like, Sugo, realistically, should not have been able to push that. Reina needed more units, he needs more factories, and he needs more upgrades. Upgrades are the real story in TVP. If you fall behind in upgrades, all of a sudden, your army doesn't do anything. And this is going to be a good example of that. Looks like Sugo getting ready to move in. Reina's army to try and defend this is going to have to go over the bridge. And look at the stasis. Perfect stasis on that bridge. Now you can actually glitch these out and push them off, but it really isn't worth it. And now Sugo's army actually can't push any further, so this is kind of funny. Reina is going to try and go for a counterattack. He knows his opponent's army is down here in the bottom right. Could this be the move that gives Reina a way back into the game again? Could Sugo have got himself stuck in the wrong location? We're going to have to find out. Looks like Reina getting ready to push the top right and the top, well, sorry, the top middle. Looks like his tanks may get caught on siege again, but no, Sugo is not going to take the bait. He knows if that base dies, it's not the end of the world, and he is going to go for a counter. There's actually a good number of units back here. Let's see if Sugo's able to break through. There's going to be a big couple of mines, but it's going to kill a lot of vultures if he goes there. And damn, it looks like, oh my god, the mines! Oh, doing so much damage to these back tanks. Reina is killing a Nexus in the top right. He's killing a Nexus, or trying to, over here in the top left, but he's going to lose his natural. And losing access to your factories means you lose the game as Terran. The 4th base was never retaken. The SCV's running into their deaths. And GG, Reina taps out. He knows he's done. And Sugo wins game number 1. So even though that game was a little bit weird, it was still a fun game. There was a lot of back and forth action. Maybe both made a few mistakes that they wouldn't normally make. There was definitely a few weird strategical decisions that I've not really seen Sugo go for before. But up next, we're going to have a TBT on Hitchhiker, and it should be a good one. We're going to have the Viking Terran against Inca. So let's see how that's going to go when we get back after this very short break. See you guys soon.
STPL Season 3. Yeah. STPL does. Bio TVP? Wow! No problem. We got dragons to defend. Yeah. STPL does. STPL does. Mass Scout? Oh, I'm so afraid. We got Hydralisks to defend. Yes. STPL, STPL. Fantastic production, fantastic casters, fantastic prize pool, only in STPL.
I'm about to overload my aggression inhibitors. Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay guys, welcome back, and for game number 2 we have the one, the only, the Viking Terran himself here for ReV. I nearly said for Medinho, that's his name. Medinho, a very strong Terran player outside of South Korea, one of the best outside of South Korea, in fact, doing really well in this season's BSL. I nearly said ASL, my words are not coming to me today. You know what? I'm just going to claim that this week of STPL is cursed, and any mistakes I make are just because of that curse. We're week number 7. I guess 7 is my unlucky number, and there we go. So, yeah, Medinho really good, moving his way up the rankings very quickly. He's actually got nearly a 70% win rate overall, and that's over 28 games, which is not easy to do. His last couple of games he lost against Bonnet and DeWalt, but when you're going against two of the best Protoss players outside of South Korea, I mean, what more can you ask for? That was a little bit rough. Definitely the troublesome twosome in a row there for Medinho. But Medinho, outside of that, has done really well. His opponent fighting for BuLL is going to be Inca. Now, Inca, much like Reina, is actually a really strong Terran player, but he gets a little bit unlucky with his opponents. But let's see how this is going to go for him. Medinho, a very strong Terran versus Terran player, recently in the BSL, taking down Dandy and Terra in a row to escape out of his group in the round of 16. It's going to be a tough match for Inca, but the map we're going into is one of my favorite TBT maps of all time. The TBTs we've had here have been absolutely amazing. We had a really good Radley TBT here. I think it was the one versus Roegi where we had Lockdown versus Wraiths, which is really good. I just hope we'll get a really cool game here. Medinho played on this map before. He won in 6 minutes against Hit 'em Up. But I reckon we could be in for a little bit of a longer game here, not that I know. So let's see what's going to happen as we get into game number 2. It's Medinho versus Inca, and it's here on Hitchhiker. Okay, the game has begun, and starting us off here in the top left-hand corner in the yellow, it's the Viking Terran himself, it's Medinho. Or Medinho, however you say it. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the pink, fighting for BuLL, it's Inca from Peru. We've got Peru versus Norway, battle of the red flags. Whose flag is going to come out victorious here? Whose team is going to come out victorious here? With the walkover in Game 3, Inca is going to have to stay alive in this game if he wants to keep BuLL alive in the series. So this is going to be a little bit rough for him for sure. Medinho is a very strong Terran versus Terran player. I'm very much looking forward to watching him play, because if you don't know Medinho, and if you don't know why I call him the Viking Terran, and why, I don't know if I coined that. I feel like I did, but someone else probably did before me, because he did wear his Viking hat on stream and stuff. But at least casting wise, I've been calling him the Viking Terran for a very long time, because essentially in the STPL, he is known for his drop play. Like, out of any Terran player in the STPL, I think Medinho has the best drops. Like, that's including mixing him with someone like BuLL, who qualified for the ASL multiple times. Like, he went up against BuLL on Athena 2, and he dropped him to death. Like, Medinho is so good, dropping constantly. Like, if you were to compare him, at least stylistically, to a player from Korea, he's like, in terms of how he uses his drops, he's like peak fantasy. Obviously, he's not that level, because no one outside of Korea is anywhere near that level. Not many people in Korea at that level either. But yeah, obviously the fact he's from Norway also helps, as Fia says in chat. But basically, he has constant dropship harassment. Like, if he builds a dropship, you can guarantee that if it doesn't die, he is going to be dropping with it all throughout the game, especially in TBT. And that's what makes it very difficult. Now, the one thing that makes Hitchhiker one of the things that makes Hitchhiker very interesting in TBT is look at this! Medinho gets an SCV, and then he runs away. He's going back in. He wants the Marine. Can he get it? Looks like the Marine, the micro is pretty good. The SCV shouldn't be able to get this, but look how much pressure a single SCV is putting on to Inca here. Like, could Inca or could Medinho actually kill this? No, I don't think he can kill it quick enough. But the problem with Hitchhiker, and the reason why it's so good for TVT, is there's such little gas that it makes going for big air armies like massive Wraith fleets very difficult. But it's also very difficult to make ground army work here as well, because as you can see from the minimap, we'll zoom out a little bit as well, this is essentially where one of the naturals is, this is where the other one is. There is a very small chasm through the middle of the map. You are never ever, after say minute 10, gonna be able to push through that location, even minute 6 in TVT. It's just not gonna happen. And when you take into account you can have tanks on the high ground as well, you essentially make this a kill zone. It's a no man's land. It essentially takes what naturally grows on other maps with like the tanks and minefields, and it amplifies it to 11. Like, it turns it up to 11 and it's just there on the map. Like, all you have to do is have 3 tanks here. You are never pushing this location ever. Now it looks like Medinho getting ready to push again. He knows he did a lot of damage to the early Marine. Inca did wall off, which makes it look like he's going to expand to the middle only, which we can see he's going to. And let's see if Medinho can make this work. The barracks is going to come here as well to help spot. Now there is a tank, which is going to make this a little bit harder. Looks like Inca did a very good job making sure to target the Vulture first, because the Vulture would have been the big problem. Now, the fact there is a wall here means the Vultures shouldn't be able to get in. The SCV does get through, but it's not a big deal, and honestly, that went pretty well for Inca. Now, Medinho went for two factory. He wanted to put pressure on. He's got an armory already as well. Don't think we're going to have a proxy starport, but honestly, going for a Goliath drop here would actually be pretty good. But looks like Medinho is just going to expand behind this. I don't know what Medinho's plan was with this. Maybe he was opting to go for like a really quick Goliath push, or maybe he expected his opponent to go Wraiths from the wall. But we know that Inca's expanding. Now, because it's TVT, there's no gas here, so this base is essentially worthless in TVT at this stage. On a bigger map like Circuit Breaker, the mineral only is actually really good. You can go for a... Oh my god, Inca, why are you sending this up here? Well, that was a free gift for Medinho, and Inca's actually going for Wraiths, so Medinho read this perfectly. Where is the starport? Oh, it's in the top right. He's actually going Cloak as well, so... But Medinho already has a comstat. Medinho is so good, man. Yeah, but unlike on a map like Circuit Breaker, where if you go for a lot of vultures, it's really helpful, because obviously there's a ton of area in the middle of the map you can lay mines, and you can also run around the edge of the map and get a lot of harassment done. You can't really do that on Hitchhiker. And the fact there's so few gas, if you do go for dropships, if you lose the dropships, you're going to put yourself incredibly far behind. Masoka saying in chat the colours are similar. Is that the case? It looks fine for me. But then again, I'm not, like, I have an IPS monitor, so the colours are pretty good. If other people agree, I'll switch it to blue versus red, but... Now, Medinho is in fact going to go for more vultures. He's got speed and mines, so he may as well do. I'm not a big fan of blue versus red, because when I do blue versus red, I find blue hard to see on this minimap. Like, I don't know if it's just me. Although seeing that, it doesn't look too bad now. I'll switch it to blue versus red quickly. If it helps out everyone, then that makes it better. Okay, so we've got Goliath range coming in. Medinho is actually not building any units right now. And that is due to the fact he is spending his money elsewhere. But I can't figure out what he's building, so that's a bit strange. Looks like Inca gonna try and expand down here to the bottom left-hand base. The Wraith still coming out here, trying to be annoying. It looks like Inca did stop after 2. He's gonna get a free scout here, which is pretty good. He may be able to get one of these. If he gets the gas SCVs, that'd be pretty good. But unfortunately, he's not gonna be able to. Oh no, he's gonna fly into a turret as well. Oh, he gets away. That is incredibly lucky. Oh no. Oh no. That was a misrally. Well, that's unfortunate. I thought he'd stop building Wraiths, but looks like he built one more. But we've got Inca up to 60 supply, Medinho up to 73. We've got the Academy coming in here for Inca as well. Now, Inca is getting ready to take his 4th base. Now, one benefit of going for this mineral only so fast is you get so many excess minerals, you can just spend them on command centers. Command centers and turrets if you need them. And that's not too bad. Now, I really want to see him repair this. Repairing is so important and people just don't do it enough in the foreign scene. Like, whenever I see, like, Terra or Kogut repair their units, I'm very happy. Because the amount of foreign Terrans I watch that don't do it, it's annoying. Like, repair is one of the best tools that Terran have. Now, it looks like he's actually not got any scans, so he can't actually kill the mine and land his command center. There we go. First scan is done. But I mean, even now, look at this area. Like, this is only 5 vultures, and they're gonna get through in this circumstance just because the tanks weren't already sieged. But when you get enough tanks, like, how do you push through here? You just don't. Medinho getting ready to go into mass raids. I didn't think he would do that on this map, just because wraiths are so expensive gas-wise, and you don't have much gas. Like, Medinho does not have a 3rd base yet, and he's up against 4 bases. Medinho does not know about the bottom right-hand base. He does know that a unit is coming out the starport, but he doesn't know it's going to be Wraith, or he doesn't know if it's Wraiths or... what's the right word? Wraiths or dropships. I know it's a desktop mode, but that's something completely different. The Clarinet saying, yay, air battle, but the trouble is, there's not going to be an air battle here. Inca, he doesn't have the right units to have an air battle. He only sees 2 factories though, so maybe that is going to clue him in to the fact there might be something. But look, this is that bad rally point again. Oh, thank you, Bonnet, for the raid, man. Welcome, guys. This is the bad rally point. He's going to lose his dropship. He's been building units this whole time, and they've just been flying up and dying. That is really unfortunate. That is a lot of gas that on Hitchhiker you cannot get back. Like, yes, he has his 3rd gas in the bottom left. Yes, he's going to be able to take probably this island. This one's a little bit harder to take. But just think of how little gas you actually have on this map and how much gas he's going to need to fight Medinho's race. Medinho's still only on 2 bases, 3rd base only just now coming up. Now it looks like we are going to have Medinho pushing to the bottom left. He does find out that Inca has that base already. These tanks got here pretty much just in time. But these tanks, there's nothing to protect them. There's no turrets. Inca is on nearly 2k minerals. Like, he really, really should have an engineering bay right now with turrets. There's no reason not to have it. You have the mineral only. You had it the whole game. And turrets are just so important, because if this happens, look how much damage the Inca is going to take here. Medinho is starting to go ahead and work a count. He just killed like 3 tanks, and he's up nearly 40 supply. Medinho really showing why he's so good in TBT. Now in the top right, we've got the command center coming up here. This is going to help Medinho even more. Now there's only a couple of Goliaths here. Now a couple of Goliaths are pretty strong. but they're not strong enough to kill this many wraiths. So it looks like Medino are going to stay here, trade away the wraiths. Now I'm not sure I really agree with this one, but Medino is doing a pretty good job so far. Even going to go in, get some SCVs for good measure. This is kind of funny. Oh my god, this wraith is going to come in handy. He gets one of the wraiths for free and then loses it. That's a little bit unfortunate, but got a free wraith, so worth it. Now we're going to have Inca build some missile turrets, but is that just not a little bit too late? Now the problem that Inca is going to have is he took this base very early. So you can already see his gas is quite... It's not low, but it's not exactly high. And he is going to mine out of gas a lot sooner than Medino is there, but Inca took his natural incredibly late. You can see the same sort of gas... Well, it's not the same, but it's similar. Similar gas differential. Now, look at this. The Wraith's coming over here, clearing up these tanks. Goliaths are coming down to help defend this. But if all the tanks go down, Medino's going to be able to push this base. Now Medino getting ready to push. There is a lot of Goliaths, which should help a little bit. Medino's tank's not in range to be able to kill the tank of Inca here. So Inca, at least for the time being, is going to be able to hold on. Like, he could actually just push forward with these Goliaths if he wants to. But this is still a lot of Wraiths. He's getting more SCVs. Medino is now up 8 SCVs over his opponent. 3 tanks should be able to help save this base at the very least, but while this is going on, we've got Medino securing his top right base. We've got his mineral only secured. We should see another couple of bases coming up from one of these players soon, but looks like neither player wants to take that step just yet. Now Inca is a rich man right now, at least mineral wise, but the trouble is when you have minerals, it doesn't really help you in TVT. Now I don't understand why he's queuing so many Goliaths. Like, he needs tanks, he needs something else to make this work, and mass Goliaths is not going to be the one. Now these tanks over in the top left have killed 7, 9, 16 units overall. They're attacking the command center as well. And finally we are going to have Inca defend this, or at least he's going to repair it. But if you lose this position as Inca, where do you take a third gas? That is the question that you have to ask yourself as a Terran player here, because this should be the easy to defend base by Inca, and he's going to have to give it up. He's not even going to try and lift the command center. All Inca can do is try and go around this. Now he's going to try and go to hit the main of Medino. Now if he can get in, and he gets in and does a ton of damage, this is going to be amazing, but he's going to have to go through all of these depots. And I mean, Medino knows this is happening, so it's not like he's blind. Now looks like Medino getting ready to take this island base here. Inca is down to just 2 gases. And given the fact he's building Tank Goliath, that is not going to be enough. Do we have... What are the upgrades looking like, actually? We've got no upgrades for Inca whatsoever. Medino on +2 already, and this is the real story behind why these engagements are going so badly. +2 attack is so unbelievably important in Terran versus Terran. It means tanks go from needing 3 shots to kill another tank to needing 2, and it means tanks basically melt armies, like a ridiculous amount. Now, Medino taking this island base, this is the closer one to Inca, so this really should be the one that Inca goes for, but he's not going to be able to get there. He is slowly killing these Xel'Naga Temple, but it's taking a very, very long time with no upgrades. And you can even see the damage difference, like 70 plus 10 against 70, like 80 damage is a huge amount in TVT. Now this SCV, I mean, maybe if the game goes on to an hour, this SCV will kill this Disruptor, but that ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Now this is a very interesting call by Medino. He's going to grab his units and try and go through the middle of the map. Now by securing this area, he actually secures this base, so this is why he's going for it. He wants to make sure that Inca can't attack him from the low ground. Now that is very sensible. And it also means that Inca can't do the same to him to secure this. So Medino definitely making really good strategic decisions here. And yeah, 80 damage, as Wilhelm points out, is a lot in any matchup. But it's really good in Terran versus Terran. Lucky Noob Lucky Noob says when this side disruptor dies, the Marine will be promoted, or sorry, the SCV will be promoted to a Marine. That's kind of funny. Now you can see that Medino has to respect where this army is from Inca. It's not really achieving too much. He's been unable to re-secure his bottom left-hand base. Honestly, what would be a good choice is land the command center and just mine the gas from far away. The tanks are not in a position to attack it, and at least if that happens, you can get away with it. Now, one thing Inca can do is if he puts a tank up on here on the high ground, he can kill these two tanks. Now, it looks like Inca wants to go around the edge. Medino doesn't actually have any tanks up here. He has no tanks over here to defend this base. And this means we could actually have the reverse of what just happened, where... Okay, so Medino has gone for dropships, which is good, which means he can go and defend against this. But as long as Inca just goes, he can take out the top right-hand base. And Medino is going to be able to secure this bottom left-hand location, but he can't get an SCV down there. Now, as long as these dropships load up and they go over, Medino should be able to defend this fairly easily. But it looks like Inca doesn't realize there's no defense. Like, he's not pushing, and this is giving Medino a lot of time that he shouldn't normally have. Now, looks like we do have some wraiths coming over here. Luckily, the SCV is going to get away. Tanks have come back to clean this up. He's going to be able to secure the bottom left-hand corner, and Inca is making the right moves to come back in this game, but he needs upgrades. +1 is finally coming in at 20 minutes into the game. He just needs to push. Push the top right-hand corner, Inca. If you can block that top right-hand base and you kill this island, Medino is down to 2 depleted, well, okay, not depleted, but one gas. The main gas is 100% depleted at this point. Yeah, there we go. Now here come the dropships. There's a lot of Goliaths here. The Goliath's going to take down the wraiths. The tanks getting into a position to defend. If Inca just only knew he could go to the top right hand corner, this would be so good for him. He is going to be able to slowly take down this gas, which is obviously a big boon for Medino, but Medino still with a supply lead. All of that supply though is in SCVs. So things are still not going too badly for Inca. He's bringing more units back. He's defending that base, but on the virtue of being here. The side disruptor is almost done. I really want to keep an eye on this because we want to see the SCV killing it. If someone remembers when this started killing the side disruptor, that'd actually be quite worthy to know. Worthwhile to know how it's actually going. Now, Fear is saying in chat that it should be a float of vultures, but the trouble is vultures aren't going to do anything for you in this situation. Vultures will just run in and die to tanks. Now, we've got Inca taking a position over his opponent's second gas. And this is his only remaining gas, basically. The bottom left is going to start mining again soon, but it's not enough. Now, it looks like Medino never actually came back to defend this base, so Inca is finding his way back into this game. He's down in upgrades, but he's doing it. This is perfect now. We've got 5 seconds before this goes down. 3, 2, 1, kaboom! The side disruptor goes down, and Inca is going to be able to secure this base. That SCV has just spent so long doing it. But is it going to be worth it? The gas is definitely going to be a problem. He tried to build it again, and it immediately died. The base in the top right has gone down. Medino is now down to 1 gas as well. And this is going to start to turn into an incredibly low economy TVT. Now, it's funny to say that given the fact they're both on so many bases, but they've got no gas. In TVT, gas is the most important unit. Now, here we go, the most important resource. Now, a drop, an ill-fated drop coming in here from Medino. This is another big win for Inca. That is the best possible thing that could have happened for him. He catches some of the dropships, he kills all the units that drop down. Now yes, he's losing his natural, but he's blocking his opponent from mining gas as well. And if you block your opponent from mining gas long enough, all of a sudden you're in a great position. Now, the supplies have plummeted, they're both down to around 150. The army size by Inca still a little bit better. And let's have a look, see how this is going to go. Looks like we are going to have Inca go for this expansion. He is going to be able to secure his natural again, which is the most important thing. And Inca is going to be up to 2 gas now. Inca should go and build a command center in the top right now. Like, he should just grab all of his units, go to the top left, build a lot more turrets here to wall this off. And then essentially you just worry about securing that top right hand base and making sure that you mine out Medinho, because if Medinho doesn't get that base, it's game over. Medinho are going to send units up here to secure this again, and I think this was a big mistake by Inca. This may be the move that gives Medinho the game. Because the trouble is, he's got no units up here defending this area. Inca can actually attack it from the low ground. Reina can attack it from the low ground, or he can even drop up there. And I mean, Inca is low on gas. Let's not forget this. It's not possible to zoom into the minimap, unfortunately. I mean, I could do it in OBS, but that would be an interesting thing to try, actually. There's a ZVZ coming up after this. Yeah, this is the problem. Reina is stuck. Medinho saying he's maxed, but he's got no idea where his units are. Huh. That is... Wait, where are his units? This is such a weird game. Now both players staying or fighting for these 2 gases. These 2 gases are going to be the most important bases on the map. Now it looks like this is working out a little bit better for Medinho. Medinho going to slip in here around the bottom left. There was not enough turrets built to try and help defend this bottom left hand base. And Medinho's supply is all in vultures, by the way. Apparently that's a rub in your face thing. But yeah, he did have a ton of SCVs for a very long time. Yeah, Medinho is going for a lot of vultures. Now the only reason why this is working is because we didn't have enough turrets. Like if he tried to run through here with the with the vultures, it would have done absolutely nothing. But the command center going to be forced to lift. The tank's finally in a position. He still doesn't have +2 attack, which is easily the biggest mistake that Inca made in this game. Now it looks like we have turrets coming in, but they're too far back. The place you need turrets is up here. The idea of turrets in TVT is to build them as far forward as possible to stop them being able to drop you. Like if their turret or if their dropships get to this bottom left hand base, you're already dead. Because they can drop at any point over here and just move the units out. You need turrets essentially covering here, covering here, covering here, covering here, covering here. You basically need to stop the turrets getting... You need to stop the dropships getting anywhere near you. Because this happens. Like, it's not a big deal, it's only vultures. Medinho doesn't care if these die. Inca is down to no gas. Oh, sorry, he's still got gas here. How does he still have gas here? Medinho still has gas as well. This doesn't make any sense. Okay, it looks like Inca gonna go and try and take out the top right hand base, but he needs to kill the island. Like, I don't understand. He's just missing damage. Like, if he kills this base is dead. Now he's gonna be pushing in 2 3-1 tanks. which means they are trading incredibly efficiently. Now, he is going to be able to take out the top right-hand base. He has managed to secure his bottom left-hand base again. And although he's down 80 supply, most of that supply is in vultures, which isn't going to help too much, but I mean, Medinho getting into a position to try and defend the top right-hand base again. He's not even going to push too far forward. He's just going to try and block his opponent from expanding. Now, looks like Goliaths and tanks going to come down here to try and deal with this. But just imagine if he just killed this base, Medinho would not be mining right now. He's got this island, but he's not sent any SCVs there. This is the big problem that Ink has had. He's just not positionally thought this out as well as Medinho has. Now, Medinho's saying poor kicks, but this is actually a really, really sick game, so I don't know why it's poor kicks. This is actually really sick. I love TVTs like this, but you can really tell the difference between these two players is positional. Like, Inca has done really well this game, but positionally, he's been outplayed by Medinho at every step. There's not been turrets in the right place, there's not been units in the right place, and upgrades as well. But upgrades, given how well Inca's been doing, and given the way he's been losing units, upgrades wouldn't so much affect them as much. Like, yes, it's a big deal, but he's not really been fighting face to face with units very much. So the two shots don't really come into it as much there. But I mean, the supplies getting closer again. We've got 26 SCVs to 17. Medinho mining very, very inefficiently on two separate bases. We've got Inca coming into the top right, or the left-hand side base. Now this is when the +2 attack comes in. But Goliath's coming in, helping clean this up. Looks like we've got dropships coming over here in the top right-hand corner. The top right-hand base was cleaned up, but so were all of the tanks over here in the top right as well. Now this is rough. This is rough for Medinho as well. He's got a massive advantage for sure. But if Inca can weather the storm, if he can completely bleed Medinho out of bases, maybe he could come back. It's going to be rough. It's going to be very difficult. Medinho on the low ground actually going to be able to defend this base, at least for the time being. But the problem is, Inca has no way of cleaning this up. Inca has done a very good job this game, but he's got no way of blocking Medinho taking this base. Look at how low Medinho's money is. It's 15 SCVs against 16. There's still gas here which he needs to mine. But Inca doesn't have the money to break out the base. Maybe he does. Is this enough? Is he going to break out? Is he going to kill this base? Medinho's got a lot of tanks coming down here in the bottom right. Let's actually just get rid of the unit pain. We don't care about that anymore. We want to see the full amount of action, but this is just too many units. Medinho just has too much now, and this is +1 tank. +1 tanks is not going to be enough to kill these bases. Looks like Inca going to give up his position down here to try and send more units to help defend. And oh my goodness, these mines could be horrific. If he loses units to mines here, that could be game over. Oh my goodness, the mines are so close. But Medinho going to secure the top right-hand base again. He's going to secure the island. But he's still only on 24 SCVs. So there we go. And this is where the problem comes in. You don't have turrets. You don't have any way of blocking Medinho just taking this base again. Even if he can't mine from it, it's stopping you mining. And looks like Inca is going to pull everything. He's going to go all in down here in the bottom right hand corner. He never put tanks up here on the low ground. If he took this area, he could kill this base. It's as simple as that. But this is just too many units. Still +1 attack against +2. Look how many tanks there are. There's more than 12. There's 14. There we go. Inca knows it's it. GG. Inca taps out and Medinho wins game number 2. Now that was a really well played game by both players, but Positionally, Medinho just had the edge. This is one of the reasons why he's so good at TBT. And I think my hair is like all fucked up at the top. I have not been to a barber in like 3 months, and I'm not leaving my house to go get my hair cut until I'm vaccinated. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to see just how bad my hair can get. What I may end up having to do is buy clippers, but I don't really want to clip my hair. But I guess we'll see what happens. But Medinho just played that really well at the end of the day. Like, Medinho is so good in TBT, and that proved why. Like, he always had units in the right place. He was always attacking the right place as well. And from there, it was just... Inca was just up against it. Like, he did so well for so long to stay alive as long as he did there. I'm not going to be a vaccine tester, for sure. I'm going to wait. But big hair is coming back. It's all good. Trouble is, my hair doesn't grow long after a certain point. It gets to a certain point on the back of my neck and then it just grows up. My hair just gets really thick. So we'll go for a quick break, and when we get back, we'll tie up. Well, Game 3 was unfortunately a walkover in favor of CRVT. So ReV have won the series, but we'll tie up the series and see what Game 4 is going to be. It's going to be a ZVZ on Core Breach when we get back. There we go.
And people like Kix, for example, who has an encyclopedic knowledge of every map that's ever been released on StarCraft. And
he's the map man! Skibidi on did. Skibidi did. Skibidi on did. He's the map man! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dee da ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Be-da-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Everybody plays one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, I don't let nothing hold you back. If Kix can do it, so can you. Gooba-dooba-dooba-dee-da-ba-ba-da-bo.
Please don't listen to him for maps.
yeah.
Toss a coin to your content creators, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 4 of ReV versus BuLL. Game number 3 was a walkover in favor of ReV due to a problem with Ugox not turning up. And unfortunately BuLL, given the fact their clan leader was ill, was not around at the time to arrange a substitute. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully Dio gets a little bit better soon. The one problem that BuLL actually have is they only really have one captain. There's not really anyone else that helps out with the management. And apparently Dio is not doing too well right now. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. And I'm wishing him better because obviously we don't want anyone to be ill, especially at the moment. Now, in this game, we're going to have Hinamu starting us off here for ReV. Now, Hinamu historically hasn't had the best win rate in the STPL. But honestly, the reason behind that is because no matter what the opponent, no matter how strong the opponent's team is, Hinamu will always come out and represent ReV when he's needed. And at the moment, he's needed. So therefore, he keeps popping out every once in a while he'll get a win. Every once in a while, he'll get a little bit closer. He has lost probably more games than I think a lot of people have at the STPL, but it's fine. Even if you lose, you're still coming out and you're still representing your team, and that's the important thing. Now, his opponent, pretty much a brand new player for STPL, so I've not really got too much to say other than the fact he beat Zero on Core Breach last week. So let's see how this is going to go as we get into map number 4. It's going to be Core Breach, as I said. And Core Breach is a very interesting map in ZBZ. Hiramo has actually played this before and he did lose. He's actually lost on this map twice. Conan has his one only game is this one, so not really too much to say about this, but in ZBZ, anyone can win depending on the situation. It's a little bit harder to get the crazy build order wins in ZBZ on this map because of the way it's so difficult to push through another map, but are we going to see anything special? Are we going to get the pre-special of a 24-minute Hive ZBZ? I don't know. We'll have to find out. And Casimuse asks, the best way to remember, and it's the easiest way I've found to remember what time it is in Korea and Japan, is it's always from now, or from your time, it's 8 hours behind. So it's 9:13. And it is 5:13 in Korea, right? And then when summertime's over, it'll be 9 hours again. I've learned that a lot from sitting on VR chat the last like 3 or 4 weeks talking to Japanese people all evening. But yeah, there we go. So let's go into game number 4. Let's round out the series and let's round out today's cast. It's ZBZ on Core Breach. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom left-hand corner in the blue, fighting for ReV is going to be Hiramo. And over here in the top right-hand corner, fighting in the red for BuLL, it's Conan. Unlucky Noob is calling me out for saying I looked it up, but I knew what time it was, because I know that 10 PM for me is 6 AM. Because 6 AM is when the like last remaining Japanese people that like stay up all night usually disappear. So that's when I kind of either get really lucky and someone will stay up a lot later, like they'll stay up till 8 AM or something, or I'll be left on my own, which is kind of sad, but working out time differences isn't math. That's how I can do it on stream. Plus, I only know that one. Like, I know that... Okay, so I know that PST is 8 hours. PST, I think, is 8 hours behind me. EST is 5 hours behind me. And KST is 8 hours ahead of me. That I know. Any of the time zones in the middle, no idea. I know that, obviously, I know European time, because that's an hour ahead, and there's some places in Europe which are 2 hours ahead, but outside of that, there we go. Now, Hiramo is going to go for a 12 hatch here, although it's a 13 hatch for whatever reason, but he does kill the thing here. Now, we've got a, I believe this was a 9 pull into a gas from Conan into 3 drones, but I wasn't paying 100% attention, which is what Medino hates me for, but it is a ZBZ, and it is on Core Breach, so I'm not really expecting too much to happen, at least for a while now. Hiramo is actually going to go for 3 hatch before pull. This is incredibly greedy, but it's Core Breach. And weirdly enough, unlike Neo Arkanoid, where it's actually very easy to break through all the buildings, it takes a year to break through all the buildings on this map. 3 hatch before pull isn't even that surprising. Like, it's quite easy to do. You can't get through these eggs. Essentially, if you've not seen this map before, which many people may have not seen, because it is the updated version of the ESL map, there are eggs here, and there's a disruption web here and here. So it basically means Lings cannot break through the middle. Now, obviously, the problem you'll have as Hiramo is the fact that you won't have any Mutalisks or Scourge for a very long time. But if he just goes for spores at every base like Pre did, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be difficult for... I mean, this Spire, if you get 2 spores at every base, those Mutas aren't going to do anything. Now, we saw what Pre did on this map. He drew us out to a 28-minute game. He was playing against Dog, if I remember correctly. And Dog just didn't realize his opponent had so many bases. So, like, Pre was just adding, like, 20 drones for each base. For going for, basically adding 20 drones for spore colonies. And there was nothing that Dog could do about it, because he couldn't push the bases. Now, Conan getting ready with his second gas here. Now, Albert asking if you can dislodge the eggs if you use several workers near the mineral walk. The problem is, eggs don't work as units, they don't move. So you can't push eggs, basically. You might be able to push units over the eggs if you mineral walk through the units and then stop them, but you won't be able to dislodge the eggs. I don't think they have any movement properties or anything like that, so I don't even think if you were to stasis them, and then... I wonder, because you can stasis lava, but I don't think I ever tested whether or not you can stasis eggs. I know you can maelstrom eggs, and even if they're in the animation of when the unit pops out, it will freeze in that animation. But if you stasis an egg, can you push the stasis egg? That's the question I've got. I want to try that out after this, actually. It's completely pointless knowledge, but I learned in a really cool way that if, like, you see where the Mutalisk goes up into the sky, if you maelstrom at that point, the Mutalisk will never actually finish. Like, it will get maelstromed. Ah, here we go. So it's just before then. So if it's like when the egg is about to pop, that's when you can maelstrom it. The units will stop building. It's really cool. I didn't know you could maelstrom eggs until I was messing around. But look at this. We've got 2 spores at the third. We've got 3 spores at the main. And we've got 2 spores at the natural here. I guess this is the third, but it doesn't really matter. What are these 7 Mutalisks gonna do? They're not gonna find any damage here. This is the perfect situation for Hienru to be in. He's got his own Spire coming up. Albert saying Hienru with the "I've played this map before" timing. Now this is 2 drones, that's pretty good, but Hienru has 3 hatcheries. He doesn't have to build anything else right now, he can just drone up. He's got 1,100 gas saved up here. And that means he is going to go into a lot of units. Now what would be kind of cool here is if we just saw Hienru go for a Hydra Den and push through the middle of the map. But unfortunately pushing through the, much like Marines versus Mutas on this map, pushing with Hydras through here would just lose all of your Hydras. Yeah, this is essentially the pre-strat without taking a hidden base. Like, he just took his 3 bases, like, the bases you're supposed to get on this map. But are we going to get a hive in this game? Are we going to get that far, or is someone going to end the game first? Now, obviously, Conan is going to be adding on a lot of Mutalisks. He's going to continue adding them on. And if Hienru does not continue adding... Oh, we cancelled an egg. That's not something you normally want to do. Is he going to keep adding spore colonies? There's only 3 in the main. Like, if you get enough Mutalisks, you can just kill these. Now, Conan is likely going into +1. Oh, he's going into +1 attack. That's actually going to help him out a little bit better. He's going to be killing these spores so quickly, and he'll be killing everything else so quickly as well. So even though I think that Hienru is in a good position, I think that Conan may just be able to bully his way through. It's not like when we had Pre-Go for this build, where, like, Dog just didn't know that Pre had 1 million bases, so it meant that realistically we didn't have Conan pushing, or sorry, we didn't have Dog pushing for a very long time. Whereas Conan knows that his opponent is high on economy. He knows he has no Mutalisks or anything like that, so he's just going to keep pushing forward. Now we're going to have a couple of spores coming in here, but they're in a position where they're vulnerable. Now Scourge are going to start popping out. This is actually going to be a pretty important moment. He does get one of them to connect. Then it looks like he and Moon may lose the game here. He's going to lose his Spire, he's going to lose his Creep Colonies before they can finish. And he's going to lose his main. And if you lose your main in ZBZ, that's pretty much it. More Scourge are coming out, but they don't fully manage to connect. He does get a good number of them, but there's just no anti-air. There's nothing that can help defend against this. And there we go, GG. Conan does what Dog should have done against Pre and stomps his way through to bring the series to a 3-1 finish. Okay, so that is going to be the end of our series today. That was a little bit more anticlimactic than maybe I'd want, but we still had a 3-1 victory for ReV. Hirmu unfortunately adds to his loss tally, but Sugo taking a pretty convincing win over Reina. Medinho taking a very close-fought win over Inca. I think a lot of people maybe sleeping a little bit on Inca. Inca definitely did very, very well in that TVT. We had CRVT taking down Ugox in a walkover. Unfortunately, Ugox couldn't make it. And then Conan keeping BuLL's spirit alive, keeping the dreams alive, winning the not the series, but winning the Pride match in game number 4. Now, that is going to be it for today's STPL. The bit of rogue hair is still sticking up, which is something I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with because it's only getting worse from here. But thank you everyone for tuning in. A huge thank you to our sponsors, Maturino, Liquipedia, and the Esport Fund. And thank you to the massive donations we've had from the community as well. That's meant we've got to our $2,000 goal, which is the largest Team League prize pool outside of Korea, I think, ever, which is really, really cool. Now, next week, we'll have 3 series again. And the good thing is, we're nearing the end of the group stage, so essentially we'll get into season 4. I've heard that there's a couple of teams that want to join, and they're very good teams as well. So we'll have to see if that's going to happen. We could have White coming back as well, so we're getting through the group stage. This season feels blessed and cursed at the same time, because essentially we've had the biggest prize pool ever. We've had some really incredible games. But in cursed-wise, we've had captains that have fallen ill. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. We've had a team that dropped out as well, who are one of the top 2 teams of the last 2 seasons. But it's definitely blessed, as Invidentia says. I've had fun casting so far. I'll be back on Friday for 2 more series. Who have I got on Friday, actually? We're going to have DM versus Soul and Red versus Net Wars. There's actually a good amount of different matchups. Of course, it's STPL, so there's a PvP in each matchup. But other than, we've got a PvP. Sorry, we've got 2 PvPs, 1 ZVZ, and the rest are all TVPs, and 1 TVZ as well. So that should be fun. See you guys on Friday for some more STPL action. Have a very good evening. Have a good Thursday. See you then.